Shall we start? بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our sessions on understanding the Quran. As you remember, we said in order to understand the position of the Quran, we have to first understand the hierarchy that exists in the world. We said there is a domain that is very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we can call it alam-e indiyat, something which is very near Allah. We said we cannot say anything is ma'allah. Nothing is ma'allah. With God, we cannot say. God is with everything, but nothing is with Him. Okay? But we can say indallah or ladallah. This is the maximum. Near God, but still lower. Okay? Or ladallah. And we talked about things that we can understand from the Quran that are in that position, like knowledge, like reward, martyrs, angels, and treasures for all the good things. They are in Allah. Now we want to understand the relationship between this world and that world. What's the relationship? For example, one relation that we already know is there are things here that originate from there. Yes? إن من شيء إلا عندنا خزائنه وما ننزله إلا بقدر معلوم. There is nothing unless its treasures are with us, and we do not send it down except in fixed measure. So anything good that we have here originates from there. Okay? Also, there are things there which originate from here. Like what? Yes. But A'mal, we have not yet talked about them. Martyrs. Martyrs are from here, but after they are killed, they go near God. Okay? So something from there may come down, like ilm, like rizq, like reward, like those treasures, some of which come down, or something from here may ascend there. Okay? So there are some connections. There are some pathways. Now we want to study this in more details. And our discussion in these few sessions are very important because it, inshallah, will change your perspective about the world. And then with the Quran. Human beings have two aspects. We have body and soul, or body and spirit. Our body is physical, is worldly. Yeah? Our body and animal's body is almost the same. We are, of course, more advanced and sophisticated, but same chemicals and materials. But our spirit is different. Philosophers say human spirit in its essence is immaterial. It's abstract. It's mujarrad. But in its actions need our body. So human spirit in its essence, in its existence, does not belong to this world, although comes from this world according to Mullah Sadra. Jismaniyatul huduth, ruhaniyatul baqa. Before Mullah Sadra, Masha'in had the idea that ruhaniyatul huduth, ruhaniyatul baqa, the soul from the beginning was something different from body. But according to Mullah Sadra, it's the body that grows and evolves and produces the spirit. But as soon as a spirit is created, it's immaterial. So, no matter which one you take, soul is not material, not physical, not corporeal. But our soul is in many aspects potential. When a child is born, there are lots of potentialities. To be able to develop these potentialities into actualities, into perfection, we need to use our body. We need to listen, we need to see, we need to read, we need to touch, we need to smell, we need to think. And for all this, we have to get somehow in the physical world. So, body is like a means, it's like a vehicle for the soul. And soul without body cannot function in the beginning. We said this maybe before in Aqaid course. For example, why you cannot see something which is behind your head? Is it because your spirit is directing this direction, is facing this direction? No. A spirit has no direction. It's because our spirit is connected to this world through body. So at the same time that body gives you access to this world, but also defines how you are going to have access. If I want to look inside a room, I need an open, hole, something to look inside the room. But that also at the same time can define how much I'm going to see and how I am going to see. Okay? So, our spirit, to begin with, is dependent on our body and uses body, and at the same time body defines the way the spirit is functioning. It's very interesting. So it's like, for example, if you have a horse, if you ride a horse, you are riding the horse, but also the horse defines how much you can travel. And defines your speed. And if your horse doesn't want to go to one place, you cannot go there. Or if your horse is lazy, doesn't let you go to distance or far places quickly. So body is like horse for our soul. So there is great interaction between body and soul. What happens in your soul affects your body. What happens in your body affects your soul. In Farsi we say عقل سالم در بدن سالم است. If you want to have good mind, you have to have good physics, good body, healthy body. It's not necessary. Maybe someone is very ill and someone is, for example, disabled, still is very good. But it means that there is interaction. If you want to be able to go fast, you have to train your body and tame your body and keep your body always standby and alert and fit. Okay? Sometimes people manage in dunya to work hard and reduce their reliance on body. So the soul becomes strong enough to bypass body. So they can see something without being there physically. They can understand what is happening in another place. They can move something without using their hand. So it's because the soul has become strong and can bypass body. Okay? But for most of people, till they die, they need body. If you are a person that can sometimes function without using body, for you separation from body is not a big thing. So you are a person that can anytime uses body or leaves the body. But the people who are attached to body and dependent on body, separation from body is very difficult. It's very painful also. Most of the time, from reflection on body, you can understand somehow what is happening in the soul of someone. Most of the time, you can have some guessing, at least. Sometimes we look at people, we listen to people, and we can understand how intelligent they are, how kind they are, how selfish they are, how sincere they are, by observing their actions or listening to their words. So what has given access to the spirit of someone? What you hear or receive from his body. You look at someone's eyes, you look at someone's words, okay, or practice, you get access to his heart. Okay? But sometimes this connection is broken. For example, someone is mad. You look at his eyes, you don't understand anything. Someone is unconscious. You listen to him, or look at him, you don't understand anything. Or maybe someone, for example, has had accident or has Alzheimer, has forgotten many things. You shouldn't think that now his spirit is erased and he is back to childhood. No. Still his spirit might be very strong and developed. But the thing is that body cannot connect you to his spirit. It's disturbed. So maybe this person is very, very good mu'min, but cannot remember anything because the channel between body and spirit is broken. Okay? So you shouldn't think if someone forgets because of accident or illness, he has lost everything. No, he has not lost everything. The communication between body and soul is challenged. So, human beings, in a sense, I can tell you, sit on the border of this world and the world of spirits. Part of us in this world, part of us in the world of spirit. If you are more focusing on your body and bodily needs, so you are more in this side. If you are more focusing more on your spiritual needs, you are more that side. Okay? So we are a bridge between the two. It's amazing that Allah has made us as a bridge between the two worlds. But sometimes we use only one side of the bridge. And then when we die, we are forcefully put to the other side of the bridge. You have to go that way. Leave here. So, here we have a discussion. What's the relationship and interaction between this world and then alam endiyat, which is not just the world of spirits, what is very high. For example, angels. Angels are near God, but Quran says at the same time, al-mudabbirat amra. They manage the affairs of dunya. This is very interesting. Dunya is not only a physical world. There are lots of good power and good factors working in dunya. Now, sometimes we become hopeless when we see problems. And we think, na'uzu billah, it seems shaitan is in control. Allah has lost the battle. Shaitan is everywhere, and satanic people are everywhere. This is not the case. This dunya is where Allah's power is there. There are angels who are here. There are lots of light here. Shaitan is only on the surface. Yes, we unfortunately can see shaitan more easily. And when there is mischief, you see mischief much more easily than seeing good virtues. Yeah? It takes you time to understand beauties that are there, good people who are there, sincerity which is there. Like Quran says, batil and haq are like when the rain comes and flows over a land, and then you have flood. On the surface you see bubbles. No matter how much you look, you see only bubbles. But these bubbles go away. If you are patient, you would see they all disappear. أَمَّا الزَّبَدُ فَيَذْهَبُ جُفَاءً. They go away. أَمَّا مَا يَنْفَعُ النَّاسِ فَيَمْكُثُ فِي الْأَرْضِ. But what benefits people, which is water, remains. Bubbles go, but water remains. Okay? So, in this world, we may see many darknesses, impurities, but this is only the surface. This is a very, very positive an enlightened and a spiritual world, even dunya. And we are surrounded by angels. It's just a matter of you finding the way to plug into the spiritual energy. Sometimes you are drained and you don't know where to plug in. This is your problem, because Allah has put lots of things in dunya to give us a spiritual energy. You have to find and plug in. So, angels are responsible for managing the affairs of dunya. Now, one of the beautiful things that we understand from Quran and Hadith is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a kind of power that, we may call it like a kind of magic power. That you can make anything worldly a spiritual. No other beings apart from us and jinns have this power, because it needs free will. With our free will, we can make worldly things eternal. We can transform and transfer, I repeat, transform and transfer worldly things into alam indiyat. There is a piece of bread. It's worldly, it's physical. Scientists tell you there is nothing special here. It's everything worldly. But with your sincere intention, you give this bread to a poor person, to a hungry person. You have transformed and transferred this bread to something which is going to remain forever. Not here, in alam indiyat. You don't need to take this with you there. It's already there. Sometimes we think we take our good things with ourselves. No, your good things go before you. Because good things are done here, but they are not kept here. As soon as you make them, they are transferred. Okay? It's like, for example, if you can make an angel, angel is not going to remain here. Angel is there. When there is hasana, when there is ta'ah, it's not in dunya. You do it here, but it's there. So, this is the power that Allah has given us. In the past, there were many people who were trying hard to find alchemy. Chemistry is from that. Alchemy is what makes any metal gold. So they were trying to find this alchemy, that if you add to metal becomes gold. This is called kimia. And then there was elixir. Elixir is what makes things alchemy. So elixir is more than kimia. So if you have elixir, you make kimia, and then with kimia you make gold. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us alchemy. You add sincere intention to anything, it becomes gold. Or na'uzu billah, also it can be the other way. You add bad intention to anything, then it becomes something which is suitable for hell. It doesn't remain here. So, with power of intention, we can transform and transfer everything from dunya to that world. And then, inshallah, you would see them there. Man ya'mal mithqala dharratin khayran yarah. You would see them there, but of course when you would see them, maybe they have also grown. They wouldn't remain the same. Allah also grows them, multiplies them, and you would see them after also their growth and development. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كُلُّ شَيْءٍ هَالِكٌ إِلَّا وَجْهَهُ. Chapter 28, verse 88. Everything is to perish except his face. Wajhu. What is his face? Question. What is his face? Anything in which you encounter God becomes face of God. And then it remains. So, if in your money you encounter God, this money becomes blessed and remains. If in your children you encounter God, they become blessed and they remain. If in your salat, ibadah, which is the easiest thing, it's supposed to be the easiest thing to encounter God, then they will remain. But Quran says, أَيْنَمَا تُوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ. You can have the same thing with everything. The same experience with everything. If I look at a flower and I am reminded of God, even this glance becomes wajhullah and remains. I can sit and think about how to improve my relation with God. Even this moment becomes blessed. So you imagine how much power we have to create light, to create a spiritual, things all the time. Now, after this, we want to enter into a very important discussion. And inshallah, now I think everything's prepared to enter to this discussion. And that is about the concept of sending down, inzal or tanzil. What does it mean? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. We sent the Quran down in the night of Qadr. Or Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikr wa inna lahu lahafidhun. We have sent down the Quran and we are its protectors. Inzal and tanzil. Some ulama say there is a difference between the two. Like Allama Tabatabai, he says inzal is for sending Quran down at once, and tanzil is for sending Quran down gradually. Because Quran has two types of nuzul. Quran was revealed gradually over 23 years. I mean, from the beginning of revelation till end took 23 years. Although there were 3 years that Allah has stopped revelation. Okay? But from the first revelation till the last revelation was 23 years. This is called an-nuzul tadriji. This is gradual. But also on occasions, Allah sent the entire Quran down to the Prophet. For example, in Laylatul Qadr, Allah sent the whole Quran down. Or there is a hadith that the Prophet says, Jibreel used to bring whole Quran to me once every year, but this year brought me twice, so it shows I am dying. So in the last year of the life of the Prophet, Jibreel brought the Quran twice to the Prophet as a whole. So we have nuzul daf'i, means at once, as a whole, and we have gradual and expanded nuzul. Allah Matabatai says, this much is clear, everyone accepts. Allah Matabatai says, Inzal refers to Daf'i, and Tanzil refers to Tadriji. So he says Tanzil means gradual process of coming, and Inzal means coming as a whole together. But there is discussion, and some ulama don't agree, because sometimes Quran seems to use interchangeably Inzal and Tanzil. Perhaps Allah can say when there is no other reason and no overriding evidence. In any case, we have Inzal and Tanzil, which means to send down. What we want to understand is, what does it mean to send down? Because unfortunately, most of the time we have very simplistic understanding of sending down. Sending down from a higher place to a lower place in dunya is easy to understand. For example, we have a 10-floor building. We send something from 10th floor to the first floor. Nothing special changes. Just the height is changing, yeah? I send a book from 10th floor to the first floor. The book is the same book. Yeah? Sometimes, no, the height is so much different that a change may happen. For example, we have water as gas, and then when it comes down, becomes snow. Yeah? Or it's water evaporates, become steam. But it still is water. So, in dunya, when something descends from a higher place to a lower place, no substantial, essential change happens. Okay? This is one point. And the second point, which is more important perhaps, in dunya, when you send something down, it's no longer up. When you send from 10th floor, the book from the 10th floor to the first floor, it's no longer in the 10th floor. When rain comes down, it's no longer in the sky. Okay? But when we have something which from a spiritual world comes to dunya, this is a big change. This is a big change. And also, it doesn't mean that he has left it there. It has departed there. Let me give an example. Imagine there is a very great philosopher, who is very advanced in his thinking. He has ideas which are very novel, very new. And now he wants to teach people who are beginners in philosophy. What should he do to communicate those ideas that he has reached recently to the people who are new to philosophy? He has to bring those ideas very down and make it simple, understandable, very basic, so that they can understand. So this is also sending down, but not sending something from 10th floor to the first floor. Means simplifying. So maybe one idea that he has to speak 10 hours to explain it. There is one point, but when you want to simplify it, it becomes 10 hours. Because you have to establish all the steps. Okay? So, now, when he simplifies and sends it down to the mind of this beginner, has the idea left his mind? No, it still is there. But he has managed to present an understandable version of what is in his mind in an expanded and detailed way to this beginner. So you see, when it comes down, it becomes more expanded and more detailed. Okay? If two philosophers can communicate in 5 minutes, when you want to explain it to beginners, it takes 5 hours, at least. Okay? So, now, when we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent down the Qur'an, what does it mean? It means that Qur'an is in a very high position that is beyond our understanding. It's beyond our access. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes a presentation of that reality available to us in the form that we can understand. After many times of simplifying it. Okay? Look at this beautiful ayah. In Surah Zukhruf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّا جَعَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. We have made it an Arabic text. قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا. Arabi either means Arabic or means clear. Because Arabi means clear or Arabic. Sometimes we know it's Arabic because, for example, it says بِاللِّسَانٍ عَرَبِيًّا مُبِينٍ. Because mubin means clear, so it should mean clear Arabic. But here, إِنَّا جَعَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا means Arabic text or clear text. We made the Quran a clear text, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ, so that you may understand. There is no guarantee that you would understand. Still, after 14 centuries, we are learning Quran. Even our scholars still are learning. Look at the books of tafsir. You see how much is developing. There was a time that Sheikh Tusi Rizwanullah alayhi wrote At-Tibyan. At-Tibyan is a very good tafsir of Quran by Sheikh Tusi. It's very reliable. But then other ulama wrote other books of tafsir, and finally it reached Majma'ul Bayan by Tabarsi. Then Majma'ul Bayan became a great book. But then Allama Tabatabai went wrote Al-Mizan. Now people refer to Al-Mizan, not to Majma'ul Bayan or Tibyan, unless a scholar wants to compare. And now students of Allama Tabatabai are taking it further. And I am sure still there are many things we have not understood. Inshallah, after 50 years you would see there is a still big jump in understanding the Quran. And this is yet about the text. Qur'anan Arabiyan la'allakum ta'qilun. We made it a clear text or Arabic text so that you can understand. But وَإِنَّهُ فِي أُمِّ الْكِتَابِ لَدَيْنَا لَعَلِيٌّ حَكِيمٌ. This ayah you must all remember and memorize by heart. وَإِنَّهُ فِي أُمِّ الْكِتَابِ لَدَيْنَا لَعَلِيٌّ حَكِيمٌ. But the Quran is with us, is لَدَيْنَا, is near us. In Ummul Kitab. Inshallah, I will explain the concept of Ummul Kitab, Lawh Mahfuz. La'aliyun, Quran is high. Quran is Hakim. Allah is Ali and Hakim, but also His word is Ali and Hakim. Ali means high, Hakim is wise, firm. Don't think that you have the reality of the Quran with you. We have simplified many times the Quran and sent it down and down and down so that it became a text which is an ocean. Bahrun Amiq. This is a deep ocean that never you can reach the bottom of it. But still this is the text. Still this is after sending down. But what is Quran? Even prophets don't understand. It's too big for them to understand. إِنَّهُ فِي أُمِّ الْكِتَابِ لَدَيْنَا لَعَلِيٌّ حَكِيمٌ. Quran is in the nearest position to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You remember the hadith that we had the first night, the first session. The Quran comes on the day of judgment in the most beautiful form and passes by believers and martyrs and then martyrs of the sea and then prophets and then angels, and goes and stands right next to Arsh. You remember the hadith? Now you understand it better. So Quran is في الكتاب لدينا لعلي حكيم. Is that Quran a text? No. Is that Quran 114 chapters and some 6,000 verses? No. That is a one simple thing, but it is expanded and detailed out. كتاب أحكمت آياته ثم فصلت. Quran is muhkam and mufassal. What we have is mufassal. It's expanded and it's detailed. But with Allah, everything is together. For us, it's separated. Okay? So, inshallah, we want to reflect more on this aspect of Quran and see how these two sides, these two faces of the Quran should be understood, and how we can move a journey from this side to the other side. And then you can better understand why the number of the ranks of heaven are equal to the number of the verses of the Quran, inshallah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.
Thank you very much. We just have time for one or two questions if there is.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Sheikh, our body ages from being a child, an innocent child, to being old. Does our soul ages as well?
The soul has its own aging, not necessarily equal to body. So, I think in Aqaid maybe we mentioned this, I don't know, here or somewhere else, that sometimes the soul grows faster than the body. For example, the soul of Jesus grew faster than his body. So when he was in cradle, his understanding was like a person who is mature. Yes? Nowadays we have the opposite. People are mature, their understanding is like a child. So we see this side. But in the case of Jesus or Imam Jawad is opposite. The body is a body of a child, the soul is mature. And the soul can reach the point that never becomes old. So it can age, but if there is Iman, it's such a good food for the soul that soul remains young. And therefore in heaven we don't have old people. Because the soul is not old, body can be replaced. The soul is not, it never becomes old when you have Iman. It's such a good rizq that keeps soul young.
One last question.
I just have a quick one. All the intangible emotions that are within us, is that the origin? Does that all originate from the soul?
No, sometimes can be from body. Emotions?
Yeah, so it's things like love, anger, all the stuff you can't, knowledge, you can't touch.
No, knowledge is different from emotion.
Okay.
Emotions sometimes are modes and conditions of the soul. Sometimes also can be triggered by body. For example, someone beats you, or what do you say?
Winds you up.
Yes.
Yeah. Hits, yeah, pinches.
Makes you
Yeah.
angry,
Yeah.
painful. This is from body to the soul. But sometimes you receive bad news or thinking about bad thing, maybe I'm going to lose my, for example, loved ones. Then you become sad. So sadness can be caused directly in the soul, or can be because of something happening in the bodily world and gets to the soul.
So
but in the end of the day, the one that understands sadness is the soul.
Okay, yeah.
Body doesn't understand sadness.
So things like sakana, when God talks about sukoon in the Quran, that's from this to the soul, yes?
Yes, it's
So
for the soul.
originates from the soul to the soul.
Yes. You can drink or eat something that gives you a little bit sukoon, but this is superficial. People think by drugs or this type of thing they can have sukoon, but that is not sukoon. The real sukoon is in the heart and coming from the spirit. Yes.
Thank you very much, Sheikh.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to stop it there because we have to vacate the center soon. We wish Sheikh